welcome back to the Bodyful Minds Podcast. I want to start today with something I've been thinking about a lot lately, both in my own life and in conversations with women I work with. Many high-achieving mothers tell me that they don't really have the capacity anymore to reflect about what they want and need, or what comes next. And usually they don't say this dramatically. It's not framed as a crisis. It's more quiet observation. And I want to say this very clearly from the start. That doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means your connection to yourself has been crowded out, not lost. Because here's the thing. You are deciding all day long. You decide what needs to happen next, how to keep things moving, how to adjust when plans change, how to hold competing needs at once, what needs to be planned next, and then know the plan and adjust. At work, at home, in between. You're good at it. Things keep running. So when it feels hard to reflect or to feel clear about what you want, it's not because you've suddenly lost that ability. It's because your decision-making energy is constantly being used elsewhere. And by the time there is space to think about yourself, there is very little capacity left. Over time, something subtle shifts. Decisions stop being about what feels right to me, what do I need here, and start being solely about what works, what's reasonable, what keeps things stable. That's not a mistake. It's adaptive. It's often necessary. But slowly, almost without noticing, you drop out of the decision. You're still executing, still responsible, still capable, just not fully present inside your own life. And that's often what women describe as tiredness, not a physical exhaustion, but the feeling of always being oriented outward. So when a bigger question shows up about work, direction, or change, it can suddenly feel heavy. Not because it's too big for you, but because it lands on top of hundreds of other decisions you're already making. And when capacity is tight, the mind usually tries one thing. More thinking, more research, more information, more weighing of options. But clarity doesn't come from thinking harder and adding more information when your system is already full. Discernment comes when pressure drops, even slightly. This is where I want to get practical in a very gentle way. This is not about adding a new practice. And it's definitely not about becoming perfectly self-aware before you decide anything. None of us would be able to do it because sometimes we just also need to be able to decide quickly. But the more grounded you are, the easier it will be to make fast decisions that don't keep you out of the loop. So the only change I want you to make, to get back to my practical advice, is before a decision, especially a small one, pause and ask, where am I in this? Not what's the best option, not what should I do, just where am I? What would make this feel slightly more supportive for me? Sometimes that means choosing the option that costs you less energy. Sometimes it means deciding with the information you already have. Sometimes it's simply noticing I'm deciding this entirely for others, and that's okay. That moment of noticing brings you back into the picture. This is also where choosing not to decide yet can be grounding. Not because you can't decide, but because you're respecting your capacity. When you say, this doesn't need my decision right now, you're not avoiding responsibility. You're creating space for yourself to come back into the decision. And by that time, you may have got additional information anyways. And very often, clarity follows on its own. Partly because maybe you get that additional information, partly because subconsciously or without even thinking about it, you know what's right for you and your family or your work and what's not. This is the part that sits right at the heart of Bodyful Minds. Clarity doesn't come from optimizing yourself or pushing through or doing more reflection perfectly. It comes from reconnection and integrity, from feeling whole again, rather than split between roles, expectations, and constant proving. Feeling whole again doesn't mean your life suddenly changes. It means you stop disappearing, for example, from all those everyday decisions you are making. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be this. Your connection to yourself hasn't disappeared. It's just been crowded out by responsibility. And the moment you start bringing yourself back into those everyday decisions, things begin to feel clearer again. Not because you tried harder, but because you remember to include yourself. If this resonated, you'll find more resources in the show notes. And if you know another mum who might need to hear this, feel free to share the episode. Until next time, more you, less noise.